so by this time, people know me the guy with the noodle. So, thank you so much, guys, for coming. I mean, I think it's a pleasure having you. And I always say, every time you have a question, please ask me, complain, argument. We might believe in different stories, theories, but I always feel getting us together is always refreshing. So, thanks for joining me. Much better lecture than yesterday and today, so it looks like most of the people like back tumbling better than front. Couple things I want to talk about. We did a pretty big lecture today on basics, but I just want to kind of go over one more time in case there are new people in the building. So pretty much we're looking for why we're doing the hollow shape versus the straight shape. Let me just take the noodle I talked about yesterday, did a little bit on the basics. JO program rewards rebounds. So the best way to rebound something is to have all your joints stacked on top of each other. You will produce a height. Judges love this. Level 3, level 5. Who's going to jump the highest? Level 7, the layout, the height full. This position is going to give you the best choice to do that. However, since we're going to talk about high level, when you start going towards the double saltos, that position or that shape will not give you the best choice to do that. And we talk about range of motion. This is the best. The more we bend the body, the more we can get out of it. So that's why I want to talk a little bit. The reason we exaggerate this position, because I want to use center of mass to help me to produce energy, versus right here, there is no direction. Because everything is good for studying. If I want to hold, if I want to go up to handstand and hold, that will be the best alignment to do that. Not for movement. Pretty much teaching tap swing the bars. Couple things I want to address about running on back tumbling. Please do not overrun too much. Too fast running is going to kill the rest of the tumbling. That's what you see in the men's world. They're barely walking, but they accelerate after the roundup. The faster you run in, I think Dan did a great presentation of ball. The faster you run, the more arms will reach too far, because we generate a lot of motion. So we want the first step to be slow, second a little faster, the third step a little faster, but the most important is the roundup, because that's the only skill that pretty much what we're trying to do, from running forward to turn your body backwards. So that's the purpose of a roundup. Well, you want to accelerate after that, not before that. So, hurdle, we talked about this morning. Low hurdle, long. Now, I've done this with Meredith Tracy. She has one gymnast that she's running. She's hurdling long, but she has a tough concept to put the hands close. So sometimes, it depends on the kid. Sometimes, if you go straight up, see, naturally you're going to put your hands closer. So, it's not a rule that's going to fit everybody, but if you have a kid struggling to go from a long to short reach, maybe a little bit higher hurdle might help a little bit. But in general, I want to keep the motion, the direction forward. So that's why arms on the hurdle, we'll talk about this morning. I'm going to go quickly because there's a lot of information to share. That'll depend from person to person. Some gymnasts like arms here, some this way, some go all the way up. It's not important what your arms are doing up, it's important what they're doing now. If your arms go too high on the way up, sometimes the body gets long, you're going to have a tough time to rotate. So keep the arms a little bit more forward. I think it's a little bit easier. Let the kids reach down quicker. But what the big thing is, not what the arm's doing. I want to make sure they never begin a roundup with the leg up. We should alternate, right? We're trying to do this. We're trying to go feet, hands, just to rotate. So, in order to alternate that, if I'm on my feet, that means my next motion should be from the other end. Should be my hands. Versus coming this way. That's why we all have in the gym, some kids, they kind of dive into the hands, right? You know what I'm talking about. Because we taught them at a young age, level 3, we do this on beam, we teach a lever, let the leg kicking up, bring your arms down. And once you do this in faster motion, that's where they jump and start doing this. I see a roundup more is an aerial skill. The more I bend, the more range of motion I'll create for the next skill. All right? So let's talk about the roundup, because I think regardless what level your gymnast is going to be, you're going to have a roundup. So very, very important. Common mistakes around that. Obviously, bend elbows. Why bend elbows is crucial? You're bringing the body close to the ground. There is no space for your feet to turn over. Right? That's where the feet end up behind. The second one is going to be hands too far from each other, which means down the line. I mean, it's like kind of walking. If I do my normal steps, it's the most efficient way to walk. If I go small step to big step now, it requires more energy to move from one foot to the other foot. Same thing on the hands. If my first hand is closed, but second go wide, look at where is my center of mass. It takes more energy to get to the second arm. So ideally, we always talk about shoulder width apart. Of course, a little bit in and out doesn't make much difference, but I prefer the second hand to be close to the first one, going down the line, versus farther. The next one is, I think that's a big one, guys, and let's blame all the beam coaches. Because level 4 has a cartwheel, and for the gymnast safety, we teach them at the end of the cartwheel, your eyes will follow where you're pretty much going to land, right? So that's what we teach it. But that's big deal on floor, coming from a lot of speed. If the head moves out, it opens up the shoulders. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit on bars, boys, tip out or touch it. Or even bridges, right? Every time when we want to push to a bridge and open up my shoulders, naturally the head goes in. You guys follow me? And when the head goes back, shoulders close. So a roundup, and we're going to talk about it in videos, but a roundup that the head moves away from the hands, it's going to, if the head goes in, it's going to do this to the roundup. So look at where the support of the hands are, moving the head this way, it creates the touch effect. Now, your feet's going to go all far behind. So there is no, you want to just ruin pretty much the angle for the next skill. So ideally, you want the eyes to be between the hands. And on a roundup, I'd rather see them spotting forward than backwards. So that's why I think it's a big deal. Oh, I missed one. Obviously, the other one is second hand to be not down the line, but too far on the side. That's a big mistake because by the time you turn, your feet are already down. So that's a big one. And the most one, I think one of the biggest one, is at the end of roundup, the chest to move too early. Because now we're not doing snap down, we're doing snap up. Great for the second part of both. But where I want to, what's a roundup? It's hands, feet. I want to go back to the ground. So I don't want to go high to go back to the ground. You know what I mean? There's no efficient. I want to roll versus to go up and down. If I do big ball, I want to go up. It gives me ability to time, to flip, to twist. But when I'm on the floor, I'm going back to the floor. So no need to be going up. In fact, we want to do feet down. So I have a support, and I want my feet to compress the equipment. If your chest moves up, you have no support. You cannot compress the equipment. So that's why I think it's a common mistake. And we all teach that at level 3 and 4. Because the goal after the roundup, or roundup the hands, means to stop. If I want to do height, just as I said earlier with the little, this is the best position to give me height. But on double saltos, that's not the best choice. So we're going to talk about hand skills, side cartwheels. I think it's one of the most important skills in roundup. That's where pretty much we can fix head position, shoulder extension, where eyes are looking, cartwheels with a quarter turn, and obviously snap down. I'm going to move to the next one since another video. So this is proper hand position. On the way down, first hand turn 90 degrees. Second hand turning 90 degrees to the inside. the second hand, it is not on the line. I know we teach it, little kids that way, but in fact, if the second hand is on the line, it does not give enough time to rotate the body. It's almost, I always say, the thumb should be on the line, maybe a little bit after. If it goes too far, then you went too much. But it's not straight. All right, so that's important. Next thing is why we teach the pikes. We did this morning, we talked about why we're teaching. So pike is the fastest way you want to go from your hands to your feet. Obviously, the other big deal is the more you bend the body, you make the circle smaller. The smaller circle rotates faster. So that's why it's important to pike. The other thing is pretty much helps the gymnast to use lower body first, upper body second for the next skill. So they can use the direction, they can use the momentum. And then obviously we want to exaggerate the skills. Because on back tumbling, I demonstrated yesterday forward. If I'm going now backwards and I finish round, that's what I'm looking for. But naturally they want to look at for the next skill. So every time I move my head back, look at what happened to the hips, they move forward. That's when we see buckling. And pretty much the rule is on front tumbling, we look backwards, on back tumbling, we look forward. So that's the reason we want to pretty much do pike. I'm just trying to see why this is, let me just guys go back because for some reason it's not reading some of the videos.